Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pixel Lore. Here today for the Rings of Power, Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8, the season finale. And joining me, as always, is Landry, the blue, or should I say the Delou, Janot.
I don't know what you mean.
All right, with the finale of Rings of Power, there's quite a bit to talk about. There are many ways that we could go about it. Let's get the important thing out of the way. Numenor sucks. I still think it sucks. I'm glad that the the guy that's going to go to Gondor is leaving.
Well, there is no Gondor. What are you talking about? The guy that's going to go to Gondor.
He's going to establish Gondor.
He's going to establish. Yes. Eventually.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Isildur. No, sorry, Elendil. Isildur's dad.
Yes. His what?
That's Isildur's dad.
Yes, I thought you said dead. Isildur's dead. And I was like, no, he's alive.
He's alive. He'd have to be.
Yeah, Numenor sucks. Isildur's dad is running away and going to establish Gondor. And he has...
What happens? More or less.
I mean, do we really care? We had our weird beard guy go ahead and touch the elf stone, and he saw Halbrand, and he was like, "Oh, she's connected to Sauron," which I don't understand how you can go ahead and use that, see that, and then just use that claim. He has no proof. The paper that they didn't let us read, that's not proof.
Well, the fact that the Palantir shows up and before destroying it, she's like, "No, I need it." They know it's an elf artifact. They know what a Palantir is. They know she's using elf technology. That's not good. That's a bad look. And she's like, "Oh no, I need that elf technology." They don't like the elves at this point in Numenor culture. They're jealous and angry and bitter that they are mortal. The Numenorians may live much longer than lesser men, as they like to bullshitty say, but they are still mortal.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. He used it and saw Halbrand in it, and then used that to basically say, I can lock up anyone that's still loyal to my cousin. I don't see any document that's proving that her connection to Sauron. He's claiming that and using that.
I mean, that's propaganda for you, but
I mean, yeah,
people are dumb.
Yeah,
I'm not saying the Numenorian stuff is gripping. Don't get me wrong. It is. I liked it a lot, but I liked the Numenorian material a lot better in season 2 than season 1. Season 1, the Numenorians were so dull. So dull. Everything with the humans was so dull. And to be honest, that's Lord of the Rings too. Everything with the humans bores the hell out of me. I got humans all around me. I've never met a dwarf or an elf or a hobbit. I know lots of humans.
Gotta talk about the dwarves next.
All right, so let's jump into the dwarves.
Yes, because we have Durin, the Prince Durin. He is making. He's planting his feet in the ground with Disa to say, "You're not mining here." So we have like the main advisor to the king, his main captain. I don't know. I can't remember the name.
Narvi. One of the most important dwarves in dwarven history in all of Lord of the Rings Middle-earth history. Narvi, he's important.
Okay, I forget. Okay.
He made the doors.
Oh, right.
He made the doors that are important. He also, in the story, in the actual story, everything going on is because Narvi and Celebrimbor were tight. They were close friends. The story isn't about Elrond and Durin. It's about Celebrimbor and Narvi. But they took that and made it they split that off and turned it into an Elrond Durin story. So Narvi's actually important, but they took his story and gave it to the Dwarven Prince instead.
So they made him less important.
They did. In the show, they made him much less important. He's just like, I mine. I'm a miner. No, he's the greatest dwarven craftsman of all time.
That's kind of information that Could have been shit in the show, but
Yeah, they make a hint at it when
they show the door.
When Anatar gives Sauron the fake vial of mithril, he says shaved by Narvi himself,
I forgot that.
and that's
But I do
and I was
remember
like,
that.
but the problem is they didn't make Narvi. They like by that dwarf guy who like hangs out at the king goes, yeah, I got a pickaxe too. Like, oh, it was shaved by him.
Well, doesn't he? Isn't he the one that presents the door? Because they do have
I
the
think he
door.
does present the door.
Yeah, it's still not important enough in the show to go
It's
ahead and.
written on the door that made by Narvi.
Yeah,
He
you're
signs
right.
it.
Okay, so he's going ahead, and Narvi goes to King Durin and sees that. Oh yeah, this guy is. He's mad. The ring's turning his mind. So he goes down to Durin, and it looks like they're about to fight, but he throws down his pickaxe. He's like, "Nope, we stand with you." But then Durin is summoned by Elrond. There are problems in Region that we will be discussing later.
So many problems.
So many problems. Oh man, I love it. But no, Elrond says, "I really need your help. I need your axe."
I know you have problems here that are really bad, but my problems are more important than your problems.
A little bit.
For friendship, because that's what friends do. At some point, at some really low point in your life, Pixel, I'm going to call you up and go, let it burn. I have it. I have to get to the BART station, the train station. You come pick me up. Your house is on fire, but I have to get to the train station, Pixel.
I've
And
had
I'm your friend,
houses
so
burned down in my family before. It's fine.
it's I don't want to be late, and you're my friend, so it would be
Okay,
on you.
okay,
You
okay.
have a
But
responsibility.
is your me picking you up from the train station going to save the world potentially?
Well, here's the thing. Does Elrond know it's going to save the world, or is it going to save the elves?
It's for the whole of Middle Earth.
Yeah. I mean, I'm making fun of the scene, and I don't hate the scene, and I get where it was going and why it went that direction. I actually like everything we get in this show with the dwarves. Although Disa needs to pick a lane, I still like Disa, but she is a problem. But I really enjoy the dwarves overall and their kingdom. I think it's
Yeah.
beautifully done. Yeah, I'll
But
make fun of it though, because that's who I am.
you know what though? Because we have this tension moment, they're supposed to be riding to go ahead and arrive in the morning. But as Durin is amassing his force, he gives a big old speech. We see his dad take his pickaxe and he goes ahead. He's going somewhere. For a moment there, I thought they were going to do something really stupid and have him just like cut down his son right in the middle of his speech.
Wow.
I don't know why. I was like, this would be really dumb. They can't have him do this. This is ridiculous. And then it didn't happen. I was like, oh, thank God. But no, he went down and cut through Narvi's men.
Yeah.
He killed a bunch of dwarves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes ahead and he mines. And Durin goes down and tries to stop him. But
Wakey, wakey.
yeah, doors open. Not doors open. The path clears. Mithril everywhere. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. Balrog.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the Balrog for a minute.
Okay.
They did an interesting middle ground because they went with the Jackson design of the Balrog, which is canonically very not correct to what a Balrog should look like.
Looks
What's
kind of
that?
different to me.
It is. There are differences. Because there are definite differences. One of those differences is important. This Balrog doesn't have wings. He has plumes of smoke coming off his back that are wing-like, which is more accurate to the book. The Balrogs don't actually have wings. They have smoke and shadow and fire that comes off, radiate off of them like vast wings. Tolkien is very specific in this. It gives the feeling or effect of wings, but Balrogs don't have wings. Nor do they fly. Nor did Gandalf mean for the Fellowship to fly when he says "fly, you fools." He's not being literal. It means go fast. Get the hell out of here. So,
King Durin takes off his ring after that moment. He realized, oh shit! Oh my gosh, I messed up. He takes off the ring, lays it down. I'm sorry, my son. And he takes it and he goes to hit the Balrog, and as their blades clash, Tunnel falls in. Prince Stern's like, no, Dad! And he gets dragged away. But
yeah.
even though he is in mourning, he does send the dwarves. We'll get to that later. Now it's time to talk about Celebrimbor. Poor Celebrimbor.
I mean, dang.
While Adar is doing his bullshit, attacking Eregion, because he thinks, this is the way that I get it done. This is the way I defeat Sauron and stop the oppression of the elves. Okay. The attack's happening, and Celebrimbor, as he's finished the 9 rings for mortal men, he realizes there's a mouse, candles, fireplace. Oh my gosh, I'm in a loop.
Mm-hmm.
Brings us up to Anatar, because we're still going to use that while we can. He walks in and it's like, oh, you're going ahead and you're saying these crazy things, my friend. Your mouse, your mind scrambles away. Please, you're fine. You're fine. Finish the rings. And then, like, I think it's another scene that's along the same lines when Anatar is coming back to check, are you done yet? And he realizes, what have you done to me? What did you do? And he steps outside the door, and all the peace and serenity that Sauron has given him just shatters, and he realizes the truth outside. And at that point, there's nothing. Like, he goes down and he's trying to get his people back together, trying to figure out how to.
He's already lost control. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's lost control. Doesn't matter. Yeah. And yeah, down comes Anatar. Everybody already respects him. He's already said, I'm defying Celebrimbor's orders, because he lied. He's a deceiver. Yeah, honesty is... there's no more honesty. Sorry. And yeah, the girl that... what's her name?
I don't remember. Elf girl. Elfie.
Girl.
Her name was Elfie.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, no,
that's incredibly racist.
And Elfie fell from a great height, and Elfie was broken, and there was much sadness, for Elfie was much beloved.
Sauron just like flicks his hand, and it makes
Bye, Elfie.
Over. No.
Goodbye, Elfie.
Yeah. And it's not looking good.
And the fact that Sauron yells, "Have a nice fall," as she falls.
I don't think that happened.
That happened. You just didn't watch the extended edition.
Extended edition. Yeah, all this is happening. Galadriel. Now we have to talk about Elrond before we can get to Galadriel, because a lot of things are happening all at once. Luckily, we could just save the Harfoot talk.
Well, we're gonna get there.
I know we're going to get there. I don't care what you say. You're delusional.
I will be. You will care by the time I'm done.
You're crazy, man.
I'm ready. We could jump to it.
No. We gotta go.
Okay, we'll wait. But we're gonna get there. All right, Elrond.
Anyway, Elrond arrives at Eregion to go ahead and try to thwart Adar, but Adar has Galadriel in a cage, and so as they're all racing, they see her in this little cage, and it's like, oh, stop, and then they parlay.
Oh no, one elf is in danger.
Oh no. So yeah, they sit down in the tent, and it's really not a great scene. I'm sorry. At this point,
unnecessary and weird.
Yeah, because Adar's just like, you had your chance, man. You wanted Galadriel there not as bait. That wasn't your point. So I mean, you kind of lost any goodwill that you could have developed. And Elrond pretty much tells him, you know what? Screw you. We'll meet on the battlefield tomorrow. I'm sorry, Galadriel. And they share a kiss, and it's like, oh, okay.
People really hated that kiss because that's technically like his mother-in-law or something, but his future mother-in-law. I didn't care. I don't know why people care so much about those little details. It's not so important. So what?
It just came
They
out
live
of
tens of
really
thousands of
came
years,
out of
millions.
nowhere. Like
What's that?
It came out of nowhere. Like,
oh no, it's weird. Except it's not a romantic kiss. It's strategy.
I mean, yeah, but still,
it's stupid strategy because they're like, hey, check to see if he slipped or something obvious. You know, I mean, how about you just don't have a storyline where Galadriel gets captured? They just sidelined her because she was so unpopular in the first season. They mostly sidelined her in the second season.
Yeah.
She's ineffective. She's not in it nearly as much. And she's basically like, I've got a ring now. That's mostly her storyline. She doesn't do much.
Now she doesn't have the ring because Elrond's carrying it.
Yeah, for the moment.
But yeah, she just slip or something. She's able to get out. And she ends up going into Eregion and to say, this is Lord Celebrimbor. What are you doing? Locking him up. It's Lord Anatar says, this is the Lord of Eregion. Excuse me? And Galadriel like breaks away after that. Go ahead, confront him. Sauron's already got his fingers deep into all the guards. So when Celebrimbor goes ahead back to his forge with all of these elf guards, he just uses his hands and makes them stab each other.
I love that. I love this scene.
I did too. Like that, any kind of like power display like that is always epic.
He is an evil sorcerer. At the end of when we get into it, and I'd actually like to do at some point an episode of this with you, a follow-up, where we talk about some of the unfinished drafts of Lord of the Rings and how it would have changed the story dramatically in a way that I think you might find very interesting if you don't know about it. But it very much is the battle of wizards, right? Lord of the Rings, all of this, it is the Maiar, the race of Maiar are basically all over Middle Earth at war with each other. And Sauron is a Maiar. He is the same as Gandalf, Saruman, the Blue Wizards, Radagast. He's the same. He's just mightier with more of his natural power at hand than they have. But in the end of the day, he is the same kind of being. So seeing him out there basically doing wizard stuff works for me a lot. I enjoyed that immensely.
I don't, like I said, it's always cool to have that display.
Yeah.
But it's just because you see him with Celebrimbor after he's just shooting him with arrows. He's just toying with him until he can go ahead and kill him because he wants the location of the 9 rings. Because
he's torturing.
He's torturing him for that. But in the way that he's doing it, it's nonchalant, like Fatoon. You should just tell me, man. Fatoon. Okay.
It hurts me as much as it hurts you.
Oh,
maybe more.
Celebrimbor was taking the 9 rings, which at this point he now knows does not have Menthor in them. No, it has Sauron's own blood, black as pitch.
That is original to the TV show, but yes.
Yeah. So Galadriel has those 9, and she runs away fast as she can, and she's trying to save people along the way down the path. Celebrimbor pretty much tells him, they're going to be long gone. You're never going to get them. But you know what? Your entire life is going to be tied to these rings. You are their prisoner. You are Sauron, Lord of the Rings.
I hated that line.
I know. It's stupid.
He should have said you were Sauron, Lord of Nothing, or something like that would have been
better. I thought he was going to say that for a second. Lord of Nothing. I was like, okay, that's fine.
I mean,
pardon me.
That would have been it would have been more solid. I do like, the way Celebrimbor dies. That is described. That is what we know his fate is at the end of the spear. His body, like that is the thing. And goading Sauron into killing him and showing us the rage behind the poise was nice. I liked that. It's just a stupid line. I
Yeah,
think everything else about that scene was actually really solid, except that
that,
they had to say Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
But they do this stuff for the lowest common denominator for those people like, oh, wait a minute.
He's saying
I
the
think,
thing.
oh,
Oh,
wow. I mean, okay, sure.
yeah. Like why?
Okay.
Would you say that?
We covered Celebrimbor.
I know. I'm sorry.
No,
I
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
would go ahead and say, why would you go ahead saying that he's Lord of nothing, but saying he's Lord of these rings and claiming, oh, you're their prisoner? You're not implying that they own him.
Weird. It's a
That's
terrible
on
line. It's a terrible line.
bad
I
line.
mean, it is one of the worst lines in the entire series, and that says a lot because it's
Just
hard.
wait until we get to Grandelf.
No, 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 no,
So
no.
what else do we have? We covered. We don't need to talk about Barrack the horse and his faithful his faithful Numenorian boy. I
Oh,
don't.
yeah, no, Barrick is
We're
the true
done.
hero.
I'm
Um,
so done with that. Like
I'm gonna say that was probably one of the purest Tolkien moments, though, of the show. If you get into the way Tolkien anthropomorphized animals, for starters, like Bill the pony,
I
for
don't.
example.
Okay, but
It's also the most boring part of what Tolkien wrote.
when you have moments like when the people from Numenor, that snotty prince, whatever he is, I don't
Mhm.
know. He,
The
he
Witch King, right?
yes, the one you're saying that will be a Witch King, the Witch King. He goes ahead and he says, "Oh, Sildor, you're alive. Let's
Oh, hug us. Let's hug
you'll be
now.
delighted. Oh, by the way, your father's a war criminal now. He's a
Yeah, that was weird.
yeah." He's
That
like,
was bad.
it was so bad. It's so.
Yeah.
You know what else is bad in that scene though? Because the Sildor doesn't know it at first, and he's like, "Yeah, but you know who's the real hero? Barrack." And he
My
turns over.
horse.
His horse is standing right there. He's not on a lead or anything.
And
He's
you
just
know what
standing
that
right
horse like, damn right I am.
there. Like,
Damn right.
freaking heck. I don't know
Again,
what this
it's
horse.
very Tolkien. I mean, like we're
That's
talking about a series as Shadowfax and Bill the Pony. Come on.
that's cartoonish. It's
It's not cartoonish, it's Tolkien-esque. It is
no.
it is what Tolkien wrote. It is part of the mythos and legendarium is that there are animals that are of great courage and spirit and
I
honor.
listen. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm saying that Barrack the horse does not feel that way, and so you have those silly cutaways.
No, actually, I'm going to say that Shadowfax doesn't feel that way, and Bill the Pony doesn't feel that way, and yes, absolutely, Barrack doesn't feel that way because it was never good. I'm saying it is very accurately Tolkien, but it was never what made Tolkien's work good. Tolkien has some weird turns. I love the world of Tolkien. I am not somebody who says everything he wrote is perfect. Look, it wasn't. There are some things he wrote that were very, very bad, poorly structured, poorly conceived, poorly executed at times. Also, intense brilliance at other times. White, hot, intense, unmatchable brilliance. But not everything is of that level. And his epic animals is one of those things. I'm fine with no Barrack, but I also don't want Shadowfax, and I don't want Bill the Pony.
Um. Okay. So we've covered Numenor. We've covered
Barrack.
dwarves. We've covered. Oh, we should finish. We didn't finish. What happens with Elrond?
Well, the dwarves.
Gil-galad there too, right? Right?
What?
Gil-galad.
Gil-galad shows up
Yes, he's there
with his
too. They get
yeah.
captured by Adar's by Adar's children, the Uruk. And what's the name of the elf that keeps running around? Made the promise to the tree. Oh, that's another stupid thing, stupid ass thing that I have to go ahead and discuss before we go back to that.
Sure. Yeah.
With Isildur, we have that the future Witch King, so we've theorized, he comes in and he's like, well, now you're no longer a colony of Numenor. No, this is an army outpost. Dun dun dun. And you're going to pay your way by getting us lumber. All of those people should have said, yeah, no, you go try that first. They all are aware of the two Ents that have formed a great tree in there that are just waiting to tear people.
And we assume a lot more Ents. Well, Ent and Entwife. That was an Ent and an Entwife.
Yeah, that's right, an Entwife.
And which I didn't need. I get why they did it, but I mean the Entwives are best left as a
But to
mystery.
go ahead and have all those people be like, okay, I guess we'll go cut down the trees after you literally just made a promise not to attack the trees anymore. That's just stupid.
That's
Just
clearly
so
they're
stupid.
so
They were hearkening it. Why would he hearken in on lumber specifically? He's not saying we're going to
because they want ships. I mean, I know why, and it will make sense in season 3 if they play it right. They want ships. They need to build a vast fleet because they're going to sail.
Okay, but he's going ahead and he's specifically like, oh yeah, the lumber after these promises of not touching those trees anymore.
Maybe that's part of it. They think that, haha, all right, let's see how it works out for you.
No. Oh, he's really bad. He's going after the trees now.
But they're trying to explore what happened to the Entwives, right? We're going to see them eradicated in season 3 or 4. They're going to be the end of the Entwives. Because they're gone. They don't make it out of the second age.
It wasn't something like this that took the Entwives.
We don't know what happened to them.
Yeah.
It's never said. Treebeard doesn't know. But Tolkien does confirm that, they're gone. Tolkien's quest to find them is in vain. They're gone.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So
they're a dying people.
Elrond does eventually what is it? What's the clinch? The clinch bit? Oh, the dwarves show up. Not Durin because he's in mourning. But we have Narvi along with other dwarves, and they come in, and we have the one elf that was in love with a human last season.
The human that left the show, right?
Yes, Bronwyn. She died. I can't remember the elf's name though, and I don't.
Male Bronwyn.
Huh?
Male Bronwyn. We'll call him Braun.
Braun.
I don't remember
Braun,
either.
the elf. Braun. Yeah, he's there too. He just shows up. He's like, "Hey, how's it going? We're gonna fight Sauron, right? Awesome."
I don't like Sauron either, or Adar, or whoever.
He gets shot. He dies. He gets stabbed by Adar. He's dead. Fine. No, he's fine.
He's fine. We didn't see him die.
No, but I mean, you have him stabbed through, and he stabs Adar as well. But then Adar is like, okay, oh.
It's like you've never seen a Star Wars. That's not a mortal wound. Unless you're Qui-Gon Jinn.
You're bringing up a lot of things. Stop. You calm yourself. You're about to. You're pushing lines here. You're pushing lines here. He's fucking dead. Braun died.
And yet, Braun lives.
And then they have that. They have the there was one alpha there. They didn't give her a name.
Shelley.
Huh?
Shelley the elf.
Yes. And she shoots a flaming arrow. Oh, we forgot to bring up the troll that comes in and they defeat. But
the troll was great, but needed to be bigger. I like the music they gave him. They played at the end of the credits. The troll
was okay.
But he needed to be bigger, and his moment needed to be more epic. And the elf who died was just, I didn't care. I didn't care about her death by many arrows. She didn't matter to me. We saw her in a couple scenes. She maybe had a line or two of dialogue. She was nobody and nothing. If that had been the death of Braun, a futile death trying to.
He died. He freaking died. They stabbed him.
Maybe that should have been his death, is what I'm saying. Something
monumental.
It just
Something.
didn't matter, and it
Yeah.
wasn't interesting, and she wasn't interesting, and we all forgot about. I mean, I had to think, God, who is he talking about? Oh, right, Shelley. Shelley the
Oh,
elf.
and then Galadriel, like we said, she was helping some elf family escape, and then they're attacked by orcs. They're surrounded. And she's like, "Oh no, take me to your leader. Give me one gold race on elf. I'll give you 9." Because
Like he's gonna know what those are.
yeah,
Like he'd be like, 9 what? What is she? Does anyone know what she's talking about?
yep,
Nine
yep.
nine
So she
rocks?
takes
What are you
her.
wearing? The
He
rocks?
takes her to Adar.
I guess she's important. Let's
At
go.
this time, this one like shady orc who's been doubting Adar this entire time went to Sauron, and that scene like cuts off at the end. Are you Sauron? I go by many names. He says that like 4 times in these past 3 episodes. I'm tired of him having many names. Just say your name.
I like
Um,
when he says that. I'm fond of that.
it's like a drinking game. If I was drinking, well, okay, but no, he just kept saying it. Anyway, then we cut back, get Adar, and he's explaining because he got Galadriel's ring, and I forget how he got it. I guess while capturing Elrond, he got the ring and he put it on, and you can see his form just normal. It's no longer that rotted black pitch look that he's had, that corrupted look.
Yeah, the elven ring healed the wounds of Morgoth. That's
Yes.
what he is. So it's the taint of Morgoth on him. The
Yes.
taint of corruption. And it did what the rings should do, which was an interesting application, I thought, because the elven rings, particularly the 3 elven rings, are designed to preserve and stop the fading, the corruption, the that Morgoth introduced into the Song of the Ainur. It is meant to give. Exactly. That's why the realms of Galadriel and Elrond are so lush and beautiful. It is the rings that sustain them, and that's why what's his name, Legolas's dad, Thranduil, his kingdom sucks because he doesn't have an elven ring. He's got to trade barrels of wine with the lakemen. He's got to have live in Mirkwood with giant spiders. It sucks to be Thranduil. I'm saying because he didn't get a ring, which is
Yep.
bullshit.
There were only 3 to go around, Landry.
Yeah, and there are 3 elven realms, so you'd think, but no. You know why? You know who has that other ring?
But the thing is with this, he's like, I don't like being healed. I don't like the corruption being gone. I need to earn my name back. Takes it off, gives it. It's not too late though. I can do it.
I liked that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, then they bring in the one shady Uruk this entire time.
Baby Daddy Uruk.
Yeah, he goes ahead. He's dragged in. This is what Sauron did. He defied his what was the word used?
Yeah, no, they do
Yeah.
a Trojan
And
horse on him.
yeah. Then they stab him. It's too
So
late.
predictable. I do like that Adar took so much to kill. Adar took so much to kill. He was, I mean, anyone else would have been dead. I mean, because here's the thing, Adar is one of the first of the elves. He is born under the light of. The elves absolutely have a hierarchy of power. That's why when people are like, oh, Galadriel in first season is so overpowered, Legolas couldn't do that. Yeah, Galadriel could kick Legolas's ass, though. I mean, come on, they're not equal.
No.
Galadriel is up here. Legolas is down here, but Adar should be up there. So he is probably one of the biggest deals in Middle Earth at that point. If anything, I would like to see more displays of that and more explanation of that. But what we needed in season 1 at the beginning and season 2 at the beginning was backstory about Morgoth. Like, give us the way that Lord of the Rings, Jackson's Lord of the Rings, starts off with the backstory of Sauron from the Second Age, and then gets into the main story. Tell us the battles of the First Age, and then get into the main story of the Second Age. Show us the fall of Morgoth, so that we have, and show us how Sauron flees the persecution of the elves. And then when we get into Galadriel hunting him the first season, we're like, yeah, she's hunting that guy that just escaped when Morgoth fell. We'd have context. Instead, we have no context. It's the biggest failure of this show, is the absolute lack of context. We hear Morgoth, and it's like, who? We don't care.
Yep.
So when he's all like, oh, the taint of Morgoth is finally off me, when he's fighting and he's taking down anyone who comes near him, yes, Adar should be that. But they didn't earn it in the show.
My children, in black speech. And yeah, no, and then Anatar, Sauron, reveals himself, and he's like, oh, well, thank you for these rings. Thanks for that.
Guess who's back? Back.
Yep, and he ends up using the helmet and a sword to go ahead and fight Galadriel, and it's like, okay, enough of this. He like transforms himself into how he was as Halbrand. Oh, we fought side by side. Turns himself into Galadriel as well, and then Celebrimbor, and then back finally to his Anatar form.
This is all very Sauron. That is, I don't know if it means anything to you, but this is when you get into Tolkien lore, this is the most Sauron-y Sauron stuff we've ever gotten. He is a shapeshifter, first and foremost.
But the fight itself was just not engaging me. Like,
well, because Galadriel's boring.
Huh?
Because Galadriel's dull, for starters. And she should have been using the ring. You know? She had it. No, she didn't have it at this point, did she?
No. But she ends up saying, well, you're not going to get these. Because does she have the 9?
Does she have she has the 9, but does she have the elven ring at this point?
Oh, that's what it is. He has the 9. She
wants
the elven ring.
Right. That ring should have given her something more to go up against him with. I mean, here's the thing. Sauron is defeatable. In the stories, in Tolkien stories, I mean, he's defeated many times. The Númenóreans defeat him and imprison him, for an example. He's killed more than once. This is, he's just he is reborn. He takes new forms. We look at the battle of Beren and Luthien with Sauron, and he transforms into a werewolf. He transforms into a vampire bat, all in the same battle. Like, I want, give me some of that instead of I'm you. He turns into a cat named Evilo. I want that.
So Galadriel's like, you're not, oh, you want this ring? Because he's mentally using the door that's opened in her mind. Give me the ring. Give it to me. Give it to me. And she's like, nope, and throws herself off a cliff. She dies. She doesn't die. But she's dying whenever she lands. So they use, well,
what's interesting, she's not dying from the fall. She's dying from the stabbing with Morgoth's crown.
Yes, you're right.
Which I wanted to see Sauron put that on. It would have looked so good. So that actually worked because, again, she's a superhero in her world. So her surviving the fall didn't bother me.
So that is what's killing her, the corruption, and Gil-galad is not able to do it on his own.
Yeah.
So, Elrond.
Oh, I finally see the point of these. Ooh, magic.
Yeah, and then they go ahead and we have to decide. Do we pull back and prepare ourselves, defend our claims, or do we fight? Sword or shield? Sword! And that's that. Now we finally get... Calm yourself. You're delusional. Absolutely delusional.
I know you are, but we'll cover this.
No.
I'm going to turn your mind.
We get the we get to see the stranger making his choice.
Yes.
To defend his friends. So he goes, he finds the Hawfoot.
Wizard fight!
And the Dark Wizard, which they don't give a name still.
Oh, he's a blue wizard.
The Dark Wizard goes
He's a
ahead.
blue wizard.
He's
He has to be a blue
the
wizard.
Dark Wizard, which is the name that we are only given because
He's wearing blue.
He says, "Oh, I don't like that name. I don't claim that, old friend," implying that he knows it. They are the same, of course. And
yes. So they're old friends, and he says, "You came here. I came here because of you. You asked me to come." Right? He tells him that. The Dark Wizard tells the stranger, "You are like me. You're one of my people, and I'm only here because you asked me to, because we're old friends."
and we have to fight Sauron.
Right.
And then he's like, "Okay, well, tell me this. Are you, after Sauron is defeated, will that be enough for you? Or do you wish to be his successor?" And the Dark Wizard goes in and says, "Come with me, old friend, and both of us shall be his successors." And in that moment, it's like, "Oh, ha! No, I'd rather walk the desert nameless." And the Dark Wizard doesn't like that. He his flunkies this entire time. He used them as a display of, "Oh, I can just whip them away. I don't need them. They're pathetic. They're hurting you. I'm so sorry," to the Harfoots. And then in that moment, the stranger's like, "I know what you're doing. I know you're bad. You're bad. You're no good. We're not going to do this." And so the Dark Wizard's like, "Screw you." Lifts all the rocks and the boulders in the air and lets them fall. The stranger doesn't have a staff, but he's able to hold the boulders
Just
and
enough.
to rescue some of the Harfoots, and people run around.
Yeah.
Destruction the next day. Their homes are destroyed. Yeah. So the Stewards, I had to remember what their section called themselves. They have to leave. They have to migrate. And Poppy, they say goodbye to him, and they say, "Oh, thank you, Grand Elf. Goodbye, Grand Elf." And Poppy says, "Oh, they've never seen an elf before, so that's what they're calling you." And she says, "Well, I gotta go my own way, and you've got to go yours. Good luck."
That was weird.
Yeah,
that was weird.
Yeah, this
She
whole
left her
time,
people to go on this mission.
Yeah, you lift your own people, and I understand that you need to take care. They're your people too, but
Yeah, it was weird.
It's like we're not going to see them again.
But listen, I would have been fine with Poppy staying in the story, but I did not need the stores at all. I was fine. While I liked her people and I thought their journey was interesting, I don't need more with a different tribe of them. We
I don't
got
think
that.
we're going to be following them. I think next season we're not going to see Poppy.
I think we might see Poppy, but we'll see.
But we do get the stranger finding Tom Bombadil again. Yes. And he finds his staff. Right. His very, very...
You find Radagast's staff. That's true. He does. Because that's where Gandalf got it in The Hobbit.
And he goes ahead and he goes to Tom Bombadil and he's like, this was all a test, wasn't it? I had to go, and choosing my friends was my destiny. It was how I found this. And he shows the staff, and Tom Bombadil says, "Oh, well, no, you know." The wizard doesn't choose his staff. The staff chooses the wizard. Okay. And then the stranger looks at him and says, "And they're going to call me Gandalf, aren't they?" And Tom Bombadil goes ahead and says yes. Oh, now let the song begin. And you know what? They do sing the song. They get together and they sing together.
Yep, I like that. I like the song.
I listen, I love Tom Bombadil's song. But I almost don't like that it's going to be the same song that he sings
Well, except we never get him in the other movies, so this
I
is our only chance
know,
we get to
I
see him.
know,
But
I
that's the thing. This is, in many ways, this is obviously this is an alternate universe version of the story, and I do enjoy it. I do like it. I don't have a problem with that because
It's
this is
Gandalf.
we're going to get to that and how he's not Gandalf. Um,
He
be-
literally calls himself Gandalf.
okay, fine. We'll get to it now. Let's talk about that. Let's say I write a story, and it's
Uh-huh.
about it's a Star Wars story because you like Star Wars, right? You
I
know Star
do.
Wars.
I
Okay,
do.
so I'm going to write a story about a young Carillion smuggler and he all right no let's go something I'm a little more familiar with. Let's go with a young boy on Tatooine, and his mother is Shmi Skywalker, and he works for Watto. He's a great pod racer, and Qui-Gon Jinn shows up. It's like, you're a Jedi, come with me, kid. And his name is Luke, and you go, that's Luke Skywalker. You'd say that's not Luke Skywalker, that's Anakin. No. I said his name is Luke. Well, therefore he's Luke. But he's not Luke because that's not Luke's story. And this case, especially in this episode, we learned his story. We learned this stranger's story, and it is literally the story of the Blue Wizard. It is literally that whole thing about everything the Dark Wizard says to him is that they're the two Blue Wizards.
Landry, come
Why?
on. You're giving them far too much credit. I told you they would do this.
No,
I
no, no, no.
told you.
Listen. I'm not saying.
Specifically,
I'm not
they're not
saying.
smart enough to do
Listen.
something like that.
I'm not saying that he's not Gandalf in the show, but he's Gandalf only in name. Everything about his story is the story of a blue wizard. It doesn't matter what you call him. That's not Gandalf's story. Gandalf's story is completely different. We know Gandalf's story. We know how he comes to Middle-earth, and we know what he does.
That's
We
a
also know the
level of
story of the Blue Wizards.
Landry, that's a level of coping. You know what they're implying.
I know they're saying no, you don't understand. I know they're saying he's Gandalf. Saying he's Gandalf is not the same as him being Gandalf. We are getting the story of the Blue Wizard. This is literally the story. The two friends, one of them convinces the other to come. They arrive at different times. All of this is the story of the Blue Wizards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But they went ahead, and just like we said earlier,
they named him Gandalf.
For their world,
for their world, his name is Gandalf.
Given his story to him, just like you said earlier. They gave to Durin and Elrond that story of great friendship between
them. And that's what I thought fun about bringing that up, because this is the interesting thing, is we know when we watch this, what we're seeing is a story of Celebrimbor and Narvi, told with Elrond and Durin. In this case, what we're getting is a story of a blue wizard, and they're calling him Gandalf. But you can call him whatever you want. He's not the same character.
But he is
like if we're what's that?
That he is to them.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they used the story of a blue wizard. Now, if they created something new or they'd followed Gandalf's story, he's Gandalf. A character is more than their name. We're getting a story about a wizard named Gandalf that has no resemblance to the actual character of Gandalf in terms of his history, in terms of his relationships.
That's why it's bad. That's why.
I actually no. Listen, I would prefer they went and they just named him the character he is. If they named him, like, for an example, maybe you can tell me a great story about Anakin Skywalker, but you're calling him Luke, but it happens to be a great Anakin story, except you keep calling him Luke. I still might enjoy your story, but I'm going to sit there and go, yeah, but come on, that's not Luke Skywalker. That's obviously Anakin. That's what they're giving us here. I don't mind the story. This does not hurt the story for me, but it is not the story of Gandalf. So I'm excited. I'm still getting the story of the Blue Wizard on screen. It doesn't matter what you call him. I'm getting his story presented, which is a very specific series of events. The Blue Wizards are the ones that come in the Second Age. Gandalf very explicitly states that he never goes to the east, which is where all of this story takes place. Gandalf's name came from a different place. The two Blue Wizards one of them brought the other there because they were friends. everything we were told in this matches the story of the Blue Wizards. Now they can retcon and say Gandalf was always one of the Blue Wizards. That said, I think what we'll probably get in season 3 is another wizard, and he'll be the other Blue Wizard. Because the Dark Wizard, they've stated he's not Saruman. Well, we know he's not going to be Gandalf in this show, and he's clearly not Radagast by any stretch of the imagination. That leaves 2 wizards. They're both blue. He has to be one. The Dark Wizard has to be one of the Blue Wizards. There's only 5. They even say that in that episode.
That's fine, but I'm telling you.
You tell me.
I told you that they would make him Gandalf.
No, I said then they might call him Gandalf, but he won't be Gandalf because that's not Gandalf's story.
Believe me, I understand what you're saying, but in the lens of watching this show,
he's, to the general public, he's Gandalf, and that's how he will be cemented. I do understand that, but we can look at it and go, yeah, but that's not who Gandalf is. That's the story of a different character. They just named him different.
It's okay. It's okay.
Is Anakin Luke Skywalker if I call him Luke? If I just start calling Anakin Luke Skywalker, and hey, I'm a professional Star Wars writer, so I could technically, theoretically do that if Lucasfilm would ever let me. Would you accept and go, okay, in this version?
Because that's the key. That's the key thing. When we talk about this show and some of the decisions that are made towards this show, this is one of those decisions that we look at and say, oh my gosh, that was really stupid.
I don't actually think it's stupid. I don't mind the decision. It's just, I would have preferred, if they're not going to give us Gandalf's story, don't just give him a different wizard story and call him Gandalf. Give him an original story. In the first season, he could have been anyone because there is no wizard that falls to Earth like a meteor and hangs out with a bunch of halflings and fights wights. That does not happen anywhere in Tolkien's writing. So at that point, he could have been anybody. It's once he went to the East, I knew he was a Blue Wizard in spirit, if not name, because that's the story of the Blue Wizards. Everything about him in the second season is the story of the Blue Wizards, not Gandalf. But I don't really care if they change the character's story. I just don't understand the logic of giving him one character's story and another character's name. Combining those is a weird choice to me. I don't dislike it in terms of what I saw. I got to see 2 wizards fight with rocks over a halfling village. I'm pretty happy with that, no matter what you call them. Show me another show where I get to see that.
I'm just saying there's some things. It's a stupid decision. I told you he was going to be Gandalf. And you told me no.
Because he's not Gandalf.
I want you to be right.
He's named Gandalf, which I did agree with you then. They may call him Gandalf.
Their idea is to go ahead and lead him to the point that he can be Gandalf later, too.
It won't matter. It's not, the backstory isn't Gandalf's. The backstory is a Blue Wizard. If I give you a hamburger and tell you I gave you chicken, I gave you a hamburger, even if I call it chicken.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're not calling him Gandalf, and I'm not saying for this show he's not Gandalf. For this show, he's Gandalf. But it is interesting because he is also very much not the story of Gandalf. He is the story of
entirely different character. I understand.
Yeah, he is an entirely different character. I don't mind what I saw, though. Again, I don't have an alternate place where I can get 2 wizards fighting, and I don't know if you've seen my decor.
I understand that. I do.
But I want to see
wizards. The decision is stupid. You could just say it's a stupid decision. It's a stupid decision, isn't it?
It's a stupid decision that doesn't hurt the show for me because I don't care. Like, it doesn't really, just like the Durin and Narvi thing. I don't really care. I thought that, I mean, the Durin Elrond stuff is some of the best stuff in the show. Yeah, the 2 of them together are great.
That friendship is one of those things in season 1.
We could say
together was great.
Why not just make it Celebrimbor and Narvi? It doesn't hurt it, though. And I think that if I didn't have any baggage coming to it, if I didn't know the story of the Blue Wizards and wasn't really interested in seeing the tale of the Blue Wizards, which I'm pretty happy I'm getting it no matter what they call them, I want to see the Wizards of the East. I want to see all of that, these two friends and all, what bothered me more than anything is how much they tried to make the Dark Wizard feel like Saruman. And they have come out and said that he's not Saruman, the showrunners. That one they're not hiding. He's not Saruman. But why make him feel like him?
Because they're trying to make the other one Gandalf.
And so we already have that relationship, which is what I think is unfortunate. We've already got the Gandalf-Saruman relationship on screen. It's done very well by two expert actors. Give us something different. That's what's stupid to me. I don't mind them calling the Blue Wizard Gandalf because nothing about him codes Gandalf to me. I see the story of the Blue Wizard, so that's different. But when I see the Gandalf-Saruman relationship played out again, that's stupid because I already got that. Don't give me that again. We've had that for 20 years on screen, and it was good. Christopher Lee, come on.
I know. I will say when he did go ahead and show up and like old friend, that was something that I did. I'll say I appreciated because all the other scenes with this actor here is just he's there.
He's there. He's an ominous threat. I did love when he brings forth his white through the moths. I'm terrified of moths, for the record. So watching him do that with his sorcery, I did love that. But long story short, I enjoyed this season a lot more than season one.
I'll agree to that. There are things that I do have problems with,
Sure.
but I'll say that it's certainly I was very upset at the end of season one.
I didn't think I'd get you to watch season two.
Huh?
I didn't think I was going to convince you to watch season two.
I almost didn't, but you convinced me.
I'm glad you did.
I'm glad you did convince me because these conversations are the best part about this show.
Well, I agree, and that's the thing. I don't mind necessarily watching stuff that I don't love because this is what we get out of it. We spark debate, we spark discussion. We are in an era where we get to pursue so much information, and we are allowed to be so picky. But using that as an opportunity for these roundtable discussions, or not really roundtable. There's two of us, where we can examine its faults or the things that gave us joy. That's the benefit. Fiction doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to entertain. And this is part of it entertaining us.
I will agree. That being said, there will be more stuff on this channel. If anybody out there is watching one day, but not today. This is the end of it today. Leave your thoughts down below. Like, subscribe. It helps out the channel, especially because it has nothing. I'm Prof Pixel. He's Landry the Blue. Or I'm gonna have to start calling you another name.
Landry the Blue Gray.
You'll be a totally different character.
Oh no.
See you next time. Bye.